Hello, hello. We'll get started in a couple minutes here at the top of the hour. Thank you all so much for being here today. Few more seconds. Let everybody else trickle in. All right, well, it is 1 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And we are here to talk about ledgers. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And great. Okay, so I'm going to hit present. All right, so that should be it. So we're talking about Ledger today. For those of you that don't know, Ledger just received a huge upgrade to its interface, to a lot of its features. So I'm super excited to kind of do a deep dive in preparation for the year end. You might be evaluating, hey, does it make sense to switch to a new software? And so, what I want is today to be as useful as possible to answer any and all questions that you have as you evaluate, the right church accounting software for your church. So jumping in, we're going to be talking about Ledger. It's built for church treasurers, pastors, busy volunteers. We try to bridge that gap between people who have tons of accounting experience with people that have never done it before. So we have different churches that work with us, and some have a professional, almost like a former CFO from a company that's volunteering, that's running their finances. Other times it's a pastor or a volunteer that doesn't have any professional accounting experience. So what we wanted to do is to make a software that is incredibly easy to use, but incredibly powerful when it came to what allows you to do the reporting, etc., so that you could have the best visual possible on the financial health of your church. Everything we love doing, we provide for you is because we believe in serving your ministry through technology. Today's outline, we're going to talk about a couple housekeeping things here at the start. We're going to go over a bit of the overview, talk really quick about what's new, and we're going to jump it right in. So, key people. If you're here, you've probably heard of Concordia Technology Solutions. That's the product division that is responsible for creating Shepherd Staff, Church360, Members, Ledger Unite, and some other really, really cool products. My name is Rob Davidson. I've been with the company for 2.5 years now. I'm the manager of CTS sales and marketing. And most importantly, your church. Whether or not you work with us, your church is the most important person that you are making this decision for. And so that means that you might not choose to use Ledger. And that, at the end of the day, it comes down to your church's needs and you picking an option that meets your church's specific needs is what we want. And so, this webinar today, my goal is just to educate. So that being said, questions is going to be a big part. Once we get kind of through the software tour, the kind of really quick overview that I'm doing, the rest of the time I'd love it to be Q&A. There's a questions tab that you can submit questions into, how you're viewing this webinar. And so whether or not, if you're watching this asynchronously, though, our team of software consultants are more than happy to kind of walk you through the software at a deeper level and kind of go through on a kind of piece by piece level of helping you make that decision. So their contact information, our team here is by phone or by email, and we'll make sure you're connected to the right person right away. So jumping in, a few assumptions. We're going to assume that you're curious about learning about the new ledger or about trying to find a church accounting software for your church. Your current solution probably isn't perfect. Otherwise, why would you be hanging out on this webinar today? And then the other things is like you probably have limited resources. I know QuickBooks is really getting expensive and hundreds of dollars. I think their nonprofit is up to like $600 or $700 or $800 a year. And so you're probably looking for a tool that's going to save you time and money. And then finally, as we get into deeper pieces here, I want you to know that like I am not an accounting professional. I've used the software a good amount. And so I can answer questions on that side. When it comes to more specific things about accounting and how that fits in, my team's probably going to do a better job of answering your questions. So moving forward, Church360 Ledger. So what is it? Church360 Ledger is the accounting piece that sits within Church360, our complete church management kind of solution suite. So we have Members, which is kind of our core church management software. We have Unite, which is our web builder that syncs with Members. And then we have Church360 Ledger, and that's the accounting software that is now built right into the Members interface. But you don't have to have Members to have Ledger. It's standalone all by itself. So what makes up Ledger? We've built Ledger because churches have very unique financial and accounting needs. Most solutions are built more for businesses and thus fall short of really hitting those church unique needs. So we built Ledger to be able to help you with budgeting, transactions. It has a customizable chart of account, an event log that allows you to see everything that changes within the software. We're going to be announcing payroll imports here in January, we believe. Super exciting. It syncs with your church management software. So if you're using Church360 Members to record offerings, right, or e-giving, it syncs that data there directly. And then we have new custom reports that I'll be teasing out today, as well as check printing and helping you with reconciliation and so much more. So Church360 Ledger, I like to think of it as accessible, powerful, straightforward, and secure. We created Ledger as a web-based software, so you can use it whether it's at home or from your church office. Powerful because it bridges that gap, like I was talking about, between if you are a professional accountant, the software is going to be great for you. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to church finances, it's going to guide you and help you do it, and that's why it's straightforward. And most importantly, it's secure. Your data needs to be secure when it comes to people's finances, your congregants' finances, and so it's secure through a cutting-edge, more than multi-factor authentication kind of feature. It's called passkeys, which you're probably hearing more and more about. So that means that it's a very secure way to get access to your software. And then we have this kind of great suite of reporting tools called the event log that shows you every change that's made in the software so that you can see what changes are made and make sure that no one is abusing your church's finances. So, your church benefits because Ledger helps you manage all these tasks and so much more. So right before I jump into the specifics with, what's in Ledger specifically, if you're not a professional accountant, some really quick terms, we split the different finances into areas here in Ledger based on cash basis accounting basics. So assets is the money you actually have. Uh, it's then kind of balanced against your liabilities, dollars that you owe someone else, whether it's a credit card bill or your church building mortgage. And then I think most of us know income, right? Money coming in, and then expenses is money going out. All right, so what's in store? So we've done a lot to improve Ledger. So let's really quickly look. So we have a brand new interface. I teased before that it now sits within Church360 members, which makes when you have both super, super easy to manage. Not to say that, it always synced data back and forth before, but now it's even easier to kind of see where everything's moving without having to have like two windows open. What else here? So then we have a brand new dashboard that walks out your account balances, and what we're kind of calling the kind of your accounting equation for your church, and you can kind of see that up, and I'll talk more about that later. Brand new navigation. We revamped how restricted funds and equity-backed funds are done. And we have a brand new custom report writer. So that's going to be really, really cool to show you guys today. So with that, I'm going to jump out of my presentation view, and I am going to pull up Ledger here. So stop sharing, and then let me just check. Do we have any? No questions yet. All right, and so now I'm going to share. Okay, so you should see here I'm in Church360 members, and then from here we're going to be jumping into this button in the navigation here. This is the Ledger button, and you'll see right here we kind of have that first view you saw. This is our dashboard. So you can see here that we have things broken up within our assets, which equals our liabilities plus our equity plus income, expenses, and funds. And then we have kind of, this is your to-do items section. We have some checks to print. We have pending transactions to review. I'll kind of go through that in detail later. And you have these income at a glance reports for really quickly kind of seeing where your church stands based on anything that's really important, your income and expenses, especially. If you're utilizing specific like equity-backed funds, you can see them here. Right now we have mission fund. So you can kind of see that unique balance there. And then we have the top accounts for just like a really quick view. So how we'll be kind of going through this tour today is like I'll go through kind of the core navigation, give you really brief explanations, and then from there we'll jump to Q&A. So up here at the top, you're going to see the ability to change your books. So you can have more than one book in Church360 Ledger. For instance, if you are doing the accounting for your church's school in addition to your church, you might want separate books, or maybe if you have a ECC or a daycare, right? You have this kind of quick use tool here called transactions that I can then auto kind of create a deposit, payment check, transfer, payroll, or journal entry. So just like really quick, I'll show what that looks like. So it'll just kind of pop this up here. And then if I was going to make a deposit, I would kind of input the information, the amount, description, etc. If I wanted a receipt, upload that here. I could also split that up between multiple assets. Jumping back, we also have a really cool search usage. So if I just like throw something in with, I'm trying to remember what, go through all finances. So if I did electric, internet. So this took me so really quick. So I think I'm doing stuff wrong. So let me just try this again. Internet. So there we go. So I type in internet and it shows me everything that has the word internet in it. So that gives me a way to kind of really, if I don't really know by key term what I'm looking for, I can quickly use this global search through everything. I can also kind of toggle the area down a little bit more refined as well. I can also do it by number. So we can see here that it says 47. If I type 47 in, everything with a 47 in, whether it's a cent or if it's in the front of it, the dollar amount or the date, that's going to come up. Because it wouldn't be the date, but I think you see what I mean. It'll populate that information. So no matter what kind of bit or piece of information I have, I can probably find it in the software. Going forward, we have the general ledger. So if I kind of pull this by last quarter and confirm, I can then pull every transaction that's gone through the software within the selected date range. I can toggle whether or not to show voided transactions. From pretty much every view in Ledger, I can print really easily. And then I can also export it to Excel if needed. So going through here, if I wanted to kind of dive in, we have this check for internet. I can pull that up. It kind of shows a little bit more detail. And then if I hit this credit, I can kind of get an overview, of this, right, vendor, right, this payment, and everything related to it. So then I can kind of see that trend over time. And then you can also see related transactions where my monthly internet bill, I can switch to another one that's kind of from the same area. October internet access and Wi-Fi. So there you go, just kind of jumping around depending on what my needs are. But you can see that it's still showing me the same kind of trend data here because they're all associated with kind of the same company. So I can also edit, copy the transaction, make it recurring, or avoid it from here at the top. And again, I can print all of this information if need be. So another piece that's really, really useful is the entirely customizable chart of accounts. So you can kind of see we have these rolled up areas like your central trust here, but then we have each specific bank account and then sub accounts that kind of are broken up underneath that. You can kind of see that. So these are your assets. These are then your liabilities, your equity, your income, and expense accounts. Right, so you can get really, really creative with it. And so while this is probably not as huge as your church is probably operating off of, it's useful to see how expansive you can use this no matter how unique your needs are. So, and then down here is the section for the equity backed funds. You can see this is broken up by equity, expense, and income all right here that then have kind of dedicated funds going through them. So I can always pull these up at this level and kind of see different pieces in it. If I go to the chart of accounts and I go to the top here, so it's probably easiest to see, I can also navigate through this ancestry chart, which kind of shows me all the different pieces that are connected to it. So if I kind of I'm going one down, I'm going to the checking, I'm going to the building fund, you can kind of see that it makes it really fast to navigate everything. And then on top of that, if I go back to the chart of accounts, I want to give you see this chart here. You can kind of see the fluctuation as that information is added into the software, right? Next thing on our whirlwind tour is budgets. So we've done a lot of upgrades to the budgeting tool in order to kind of speed up the process of setting your budget. So if I click in anywhere, it'll give me, so I clicked into the youth fund, and it'll show me kind of the different, what's going on for 2024, what do I have budgeted? And actually, let me jump into this one because there's just going to be more information. So this is my general fund. If I want to do kind of a really quick recalibration to my budget, or I'm prepping for next year, etc., I'm in 2024's book, so that's the book I'm budgeting in. I can do a really fast change to any one of these with some of these quick tools. So I can always click in and change this myself, but if I want to go about this more speedy way, I can pull from last year's budget. I could pull from last year's actual. Or if I cancel, jump back in, I can also increase, or what we did last year's actual, pull that, and then adjust by 5%, fill, everything goes up by 5%. If I wanted to add $100 to everything, I could do that. And then, hey, if I wanted to set everything to 100, I could. We also have recurring transactions. We don't have a lot of these operating in this demo account, but you can see we have the bank interest here. I can go in, I can edit it, delete it, and it kind of shows the information with that specific recurring journal entry and when the next occurrence will be. So, all right. So then financial reports will be the last thing I want to jump to. The last thing in this, I want to show logins. So we give people the ability to create customized logins. So you don't have to give everyone access to the software. So you can kind of chop up the software into little bits and say, hey, I only want you to be able to access this depending on your specific login and role. So if I go here, I can scroll down to, or select. No, so this is login. So I can see here that Taylor Brown, right? She has access to offerings and communication module, right? So if I scroll down to Kent Williams, right? This is kind of, no, he's our, so we'll use this, Beth's account here. So we'll make some edits, and then I can select the different different access pieces that I want her to have. So you can see here, the information on the left-hand side is detailing what's kind of specific of that role. So I can then kind of assign that to a specific login. And then the roles I can customize myself within here by the people, events, offerings, communication, or ledger. And then the other piece in here is the event log. So you can see everything that's changed within the software that I've been talking about here. So right now we have it showing all modules. So if it's in the member side of the software or the ledger, you'll see it here. You can see that there was kind of these checks, change check printed to, he was kind of changing what dates checks are being printed, adding deposits and payment transactions here, creating the financial report for VBS and income expenses. We added Amazon as a payee, I bet. And then I can always kind of drill down and just show ledger and see everything that's changed in ledger. And I always hit older. So this goes on and on forever. So jumping back, I want to show you how kind of both softwares work together really, really quick. If you were doing kind of offerings and I want to do a new batch, I'll select a Sunday, and then I want to add a new batch. I'm just going to add in, a unique amount here. So we got Dave. I'm going to add 300 from him specifically. Lacey here is going to give a check, and that's $450. And then, Delana is going to do e-giving, electronic, specifically to the mission fund, and they do $1,000. Great. So you can kind of see that this is all rolling together. I'm going to click this post to ledger button. So you can see November 3rd, 2024, post to ledger. It's now posted. I'm going to go to ledger. We can now see we have 7 pending transactions to view. And we can see this one. This is the one I just created. And we can go ahead and pull that into the software and kind of split where this is going. So we can put this both in the kind of the regular fund and then the mission fund, right? Because we knew that Delania put that in there. So then we'll put that for everything else. And then payees optional. And then we can kind of put this from operator fund, general fund, and mission fund. And there we go, offering given mission fund, and then we're saving it. And so this is the offering batch. I don't know why this memo is here. 11/3. Oh no, because that's the actual date. It's the 11th month. Time has flown. So there we go. So now this transaction is saved, and then I can we have the related ones here, and I can kind of investigate this, dive deeper, just like other transactions. So finally, the last thing I want to show you before we jump to Q&A is the financial reports. So we kind of blend kind of default canned reports that everybody needs with the ability to make custom reports depending on what your church uniquely needs. So a balance sheet is a report that a lot of different places need, and so we have that pre-populated. So I can kind of, edit this if I wanted to kind of change some of the pieces, but at the very stance, this is kind of the quick look at different pieces. I can see payroll being taken out, my liabilities, the credit cards, and I can print this information in case I need to present this at at a committee or a church council board meeting. I've shown you the general ledger. Income and expense is another default one, very similar to the last one we looked at, but just a little bit different depending on your needs. You can see kind of what the income this year. So we have the expenses and the income up here, and then how we're operating against budget and what's remaining. So, and then you have the ability to make one yourself. So, we have this one that we saw was made, Vacation Bible School Income and Expense. So this was made specifically to showcase different pieces that was moving within VBS, right? So, whoever built this, a lot of people use this demo account, they were showing the expenses and different incomes in a really simple way, just to make it easy to navigate. And like always, you can always print this for however you need it. Making a new report is easy. Webinar test report. This can be seen by others. Let's add a section. I can always add kind of text just to introduce the purpose of this report. Give context. Let's spell things right, Rob. And then I can add, information from, the ledger or different funds, and then that in there. Or I can break out account-based activity. So if I kind of want to change the chart depth and then look specifically at, can I highlight? No. And kind of then look at, so I just want to look at assets, summary, and then I want a summary for this. So this will go ahead, and then I just got to populate it with actuals of year to date. Add, and then this will go ahead and populate. So it takes a little bit of time just to get the hang of it, but you can see that it's super, super powerful, easy to use. And again, it's just we're trying to give churches just kind of everything they can to kind of do things that they need to operate and run their church. So with that, let's bring things to a close and move to Q&A. But I'll kind of finish up kind of my 2 cents here on the presentation. So thank you all for joining us today. I hope this has been educational and helping you kind of get a glimpse of what Ledger is all about. You can type in 360ledger.com and it'll take you to the product page, and you can start a 37-day free trial there. And our team of software consultants are happy to answer any questions you have. This is their contact information. Or you can always respond to the email where you signed up for the webinar, whichever. I will make sure you're connected to the right person. So with all that said, kind of jumping in, feel free to add any questions that you have from what you've seen today. I want to make this as valuable as possible for you. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of the day. But I will hang out here for a little bit, and if not, well, I'll bring this to a close here in the next 5-10 minutes. Anyone got any questions? All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me today. Blessings on you and your ministry. Take care. Bye.